Okay, it's your buddy, it's your pal, Mike Messier. And just one of the YouTube comments was, "Where'd you go?" I'm okay, everybody. I'm fine. Some situations have happened. Nothing I can't handle. Let's put it that way. But just life sometimes gets in the way. I did, for the time being, shut down both Twitter and Facebook. And folks, I want to encourage you guys and women to do the same because Kavanaugh, wrestling, all this stuff that we get so wrapped up into. It could be cat videos, it could be anything, but this environment of checking social media, I can literally start to feel my neck getting sore from punching over on the phone like every fucking buddy else. And I just wanted to, cut a quick video covering a bunch of topics, but just saying that sometimes you got to take a break from social media and your fucking phone. And ironically, I'm doing a video right now on for the YouTube, but I wanted to just let everyone know I'm fine. But honestly, things sometimes that I promote or I try to push an event or something on Facebook, and if people don't come out for it, maybe I take that a bit personally. But I don't feel like fuck everybody. That's how I feel at some points, just to be very honest. So It's nothing against anyone personally. It's just that when you're an entertainer or you're a filmmaker or whatever the fuck, and you push for success, and sometimes you see an apathy or an ambivalence of the audience, then you just don't give a fuck for a while. And that's just being honest. And people may like that, they may not. As far as other things in the world that I normally talk about, guess what? Yesterday morning was Saturday. I woke up at like 8:15 in the morning. And it occurred to me, oh yeah, okay, that fucking show's going on right now. The Australian wrestling show, WWE, super show. And thinking, okay, if I turn this thing on now, maybe I'll be in the middle of the Triple H Undertaker match. Or maybe I'll be in the middle of the six-man match or some match. Or Charlotte versus Becky, which I'm sure was probably really good. And honestly, what I used on myself was a visual of, that was a giant bowl of sugar, okay? White sugar, white death. And if people don't know what that means, look into sugar. Look into what sugar is, processed sugar, to be clear. Not the sugar that comes naturally in apples and bananas and stuff, but look into what sugar is, and then you start looking at candy bars. You start looking at soda especially. And you start looking at all these things that we eat and don't think twice about it. But this fucking sugar is really fucking bad for everybody. And it is. And then I started thinking of this WWE Super Show as a giant bowl of fucking sugar. And was I going to take my spoon of the remote control and dip it into that world and push the Blu-ray player to get to the network and all these things? And within minutes, I could have had that super show. I could have started it from the top. I could have seen them all happy, and I'm sure it's a big crowd, and I'm sure it probably looked cool, and so forth. But I said, you know what? No, fuck that. So I got in my fucking car. I got to the gym. I got some fucking gym time in. We get to a yard sale. Got some interesting things at a yard sale, an October yard sale in New England. Can't beat that. Did a bunch of stuff, applied for some things online for my own fucking career, some film and theater opportunities as a writer, and ended up watching the fight, meaning the UFC fight. So now let me just see, guess what? I know one result of one of these UFC, one of the WWE shows. Some other YouTube person that I subscribe to posted, probably illegally, I'm sure, the result and the clip of one of the fights, one of the matches. And I kind of gave them a hard time, like, oh, thanks, you just spoiler alerted me, on this thing. But just busting chops a little. And then I, saw the Conor fight. Now, what did I think? First of all, I guess this grudge about this bus thing, that's going to be this guy's excuse. And Khabib, I guess is his name, the Russian. And you know what? I watch The Ultimate Fighter, but I don't watch these UFC pay-per-views anymore. They're long, they're drawn out, but this was a special occasion. A buddy invited me over. We're watching this thing, and he dominated. I mean, he earned his 27th victory, undefeated. He totally earned that victory, And I guess perhaps he felt like he didn't administer enough punishment or embarrass his opponent enough or whatever. I mean, Conor in the third and fourth was coming back a little bit. But once he got that tap out, that should be it. I mean, you should, but I mean, these guys are so juiced up on adrenaline and momentum and emotion and everything else. And I think he really, I don't want to put words in the guy's mouth or thoughts in his brain, but he really felt like he had to make a statement. And, and I don't know about why he jumped over the cage, if Conor's guy said something to him, but even if he did, I mean, you just won a huge fight for a lot of money. And honestly, with the emotions charged up for that type of thing, it could have caused a riot. I haven't followed the reports if there was anything after the match, after the UFC fight. And if there was, there was. If there wasn't, there wasn't. But, for me, it kind of does taint to victory. And I got back to my own place. I watched the, Michael Bisping and everybody talking about it. And what the fuck, So I think puts Dana White in a tough position because now you've got, you're just getting John Jones back after a fucking suspension for a year or whatever the fuck. And Lesnar has a history of abuse of chemicals. And now you got this guy with this. So it's like, who's your fucking star? Anyway, kombucha, folks. Now, this is not a paid advertisement because this company doesn't know who the fuck I am. Kavita, it does help quite a bit. I went about a week without this stuff. I normally try to have one every day or every other day. And I went a week without it, and I could feel it. Look into kombucha and what it does for you. Kavita brand is really good. It's good for your mood. And some people might be wondering, Mike, aren't you always angry? Well, guess what? I didn't watch wrestling the other day, and I'm fucking angry. I guess I'm not angry is what I'm saying because I didn't watch WWE. I don't know what happened. And, I mean, I get all these videos. I mean, I can listen to Monster. I can listen to fucking Dave Meltzer. I can listen to, my buddy Joe Cronin. I can listen to Vince Russo. Anyone I want to give me a review of that show. But I'm getting to that point of thinking, is this shit good for me? I mean, honestly, if I'm going to complain about WWE and their politics and their misuse of talent, watching it's not good for me. That's why we did Raw Protest, which was successful. Once again, a tip to that. And so we just did Raw Protest. So tomorrow night's Raw, another Raw Protest. But I'm still doing this. And I got into a little bit of a Twitter thing with some guy on Twitter who always takes issue with my comments, and he calls me a hypocrite because I'm not supporting the WWE Women's Evolution show. But I didn't say I wasn't supporting it. I'm not boycotting it. But he was making a point that, well, if you're not supporting WWE Women's Evolution, aren't you a hypocrite for not supporting the women? My counterpoint is that's just more money in Vince's other pocket. If you're supporting the crime of not having, or, the offensive nature of not having the women in Saudi Arabia, and the way to protest that is to support WWE Women's Evolution, it's your same dollar in Vince's other pocket. That's what I said for years, my buddy who just watched NXT and not the main roster. It's your dollar in Vince's other pocket. Your same dollar, Vince's other pocket. So that's the Mike Messier update. I do appreciate the gentleman or a woman who, I think it was a guy actually, who said, are you okay? Where are you at? But I shut down Twitter. I shut down Facebook. So people need to recognize MikeMessier.com and all the greatness that is me. Have a great week.